Presentation mode, please. So we'll, as you can see the topic, today we're speaking to personal effectiveness and time management. Personal effectiveness and time management for young accountants. You skipped our slide, you can go to slide 1. And
Okay.
so what do we mean by personal effectiveness? Naturally, you know what the meaning of personal effectiveness is. How do I get myself to be personally effective? As a young accountant, how do I manage my time effectively? And being personally effective, this is actually a very crucial skill that everyone should master. You should be able to master the skills to be personally effective. You don't need anybody to micromanage you. You don't need anybody to supervise you. You can actually supervise yourself. And that's what we mean when we say personal effectiveness. You trying to monitor yourself, coordinate yourself. And so this evening, we're just going to be talking around the key concepts, the various strategies, and the techniques that you can adopt to enhance your personal effectiveness. Many of us are already personally effective. You already have some of these skills, if not all, but you're not deliberate and you're not intentional about it. The slide is not showing anymore. So I believe that this session will help us to be deliberate. It will help us to pay attention to what will actually make us effective every day and what will make us use or invest our time properly. And so I go on. This personal effectiveness and time management actually are essential skills for success. You'll find out that many people who are actually very successful are managing their time well. They are personally effective. They're managing their time maybe better than others. People who manage their time well, people who are personally effective, many times don't even feel that they are doing very well. But when you compare them, when you benchmark such a person with someone else, you actually find out that that person is able to achieve more. The person is more successful in what they do than the others. So we're here today to to help us build up those skills, to learn those skills that will put us in a strategic position ahead of our peers and other people around us. That is what personal effectiveness and time management is all about for young accountants. And so I am opportuned, or I'm privileged to be able to share my own personal, maybe experiences with you on how I have gotten there as a young person. I may not be as young as you are today, but definitely I'm also young in my own way. And I started doing well as a younger person. And probably if listening to me is going to inspire someone to also get to that place and even surpass the things that I've been able to do. I'm going to tell you about a young person called Ayo. Ayo is that young accountant who is overwhelmed. I'm sure there are many of us who are overwhelmed here with work. Even me, I can tell you that I get overwhelmed with the many things I have to do. I have to work as an accountant general. I have to do my role in the council. I have to work at home. I have to do other things in other areas where people need my attention, where people want me to mentor. Like here, I have to come and serve here as well. And I have to I have to also network with my alumni at secondary school level, at university level, at various institutions that have had opportunity to school and to learn. I have to also go to church as a religious person. So there are so many things that you need to strike a balance. And how do you strike this balance? So there's an overwhelming situation around you, you're overwhelmed, and then your job is actually there, overwhelming you, number one. So you find Ayo is always late to work. She's late for meetings. She misses her deadlines. She doesn't even remember that sometimes she even misses some meetings. Ayo struggles to keep up with her task. And so one day she decided, and that's today. One day Ayo decides to step back and assess her workflow. She realizes that she needs to prioritize her task, manage her time more effectively, and develop her personal effectiveness skills. I'm sure that's why the young accountant chairman here in Lagelu District and Society, maybe he's found out that so many other people like us are also overwhelmed, and that's why he's brought out this topic for us today. Ion's journey now begins with small changes, but soon she finds herself becoming more productive. That's what we are here to do. More productive, more confident, and successful in her role. So in this presentation, we will be exploring the essential skills and strategies that Ayo learned on her path to mastering personal effectiveness and time management. And here I have one of those first things here. What are the various components of personal effectiveness? Goal setting. Goal setting, you have to set your goals. You have to make your goals very clear and prioritize those goals. Do you have goals? Or are you just there? Anyone comes, anything comes, and anything goes? You have to set your goals and you have to establish those goals to be clear and make sure that you know what your priorities are. You also have to have your own self-awareness. You need to understand yourself. And in understanding yourself, you're speaking to your strength. You're speaking to your weaknesses. You're speaking to your emotions. Your self-awareness. Are you aware of yourself? Do you know how you respond to situations? Are you overly excited, or are you overly moody? Or are you just balanced in your self-reasoning? So self-awareness. In self-awareness, we could also deviate into emotional intelligence, because emotional intelligence has to do with your self-awareness, your awareness of your environment, and your awareness of other people around you and how they can impact on your emotions. So in being for personal effectiveness, you need to have these components. What is your goal? Are you aware of yourself? And then another component of effectiveness is resilience. Developing a coping mechanism and adaptability, resilience. I've heard people say that I have a high level of resilience. I've also heard some people define me as someone who is who is tenacious. So resilience. Can you say you've developed coping mechanisms and adaptability? Because the situations will always change. New things will always happen. Unexpected will happen. But have you skilled up yourself such that you can cope when whatever happens? You're able to cope. You've developed coping mechanisms, and you can adapt to any situation that you find yourself in. Even if you have a very welcoming boss today, can you say, okay, tomorrow, if you now have a very difficult boss, will you adapt to the situation? Will you be able to cope, or you just give up? That is resilience. Communication. Effective verbal and written communication is important. Young people and older people that are here, we should be able to communicate very well. Communicate verbally and communicate in writing. Many people are unable to even express themselves verbally, and many others cannot also write. You have to develop those skills. You have to learn from other people, identify how other people are able to do those things that you're unable to do. But if you have issues around your communication, then you need to begin to work on it. You have to be aware that that's an issue, and you have to start to learn and develop yourself to overcome that issue. So I also communication writing was part of my challenges. Okay, I can do all the calculations, I can do all the computations, I can do all the analysis, but when you ask me to come and write them, it becomes a challenge for me. But today, I can say to you that I have overcome that challenge because I was aware of it and I tried to work on it. I tried to know what other people were doing to be able to equip themselves with the master key for writing, to build up their writing skills. And that has really helped me a lot. Yes, you may be able to express yourself verbally. Some people don't even know how to express themselves verbally. When they're supposed to make an argument, a positive argument, they just keep quiet. Keeping quiet is not good. Keeping quiet is not good. You have to learn to express yourself, communicate with other people, so that as they communicate with you as well, you can form a great team and a great partnership with them. There should be teamwork. You have to learn to collaborate and build strong relationships. Everybody around you cannot be wrong, and you are the only right person. You must work hard to build your relationships, to collaborate and build relationships with other people. Collaborate with other people. Sometimes you shift to the right when everyone is saying, oh, this is how the thing has to be. You also don't just give yourself to that sense of reasoning and say, okay, oh, I need to collaborate. That's positive collaboration. We're not talking about when it is negative to this, so for destruction. No, but you can collaborate well as a team member. All these are very important for you to actually be to have that personal effectiveness in the things you do every day. You need to set clear goals. You need to be aware of yourself, your environment. You need to be resilient. You need to build up the resilient skills. You need to understand that you should communicate properly and be a part of a team in collaboration. So let's go to the next slide. In the next slide, so here, okay, so before, this is goal setting, which is one of the key components of personal effectiveness. Your goals should be SMART. Many of us have heard about SMART goals. Maybe some of us are hearing it for the first time. What do we mean by SMART goals? Your goals should be SMART. So the S means specific. You should have specific goals. When you say this is my goal, is it specific? Is it heading towards a particular direction? Is it measurable? Can you measure when you achieve that goal? Can you measure that you have achieved it? Is it achievable? Is it relevant? And is it time bound? That is SMART. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. A goal that takes you to eternity is not a goal. A goal that you say, okay, by tomorrow, I should be able to clear up this outstanding here. It is a goal. And how do I know that I've cleared up the outstanding? Oh, by the time my report gets to my report line, then I know that I have done the work. And when I get my report line's feedback, then I know that I have achieved it. And I'm going to give myself 2 days when I submit in 48 hours or in 24 hours, I should get a feedback from my report line that the job I have submitted is okay. And if I don't get a feedback in 24 hours or in 48 hours, I will call and make sure that I get a feedback. That is a time-bound, measurable, specific goal and relevant to the situation. And so your goals should always be SMART. You should define something specifically. You should measure what you want to do. It should be measurable. Oh, I used to do this before. I want to do more this time. That is what SMART goals are. And in doing your goals, you also need to prioritize your task based on importance and urgency. Some tasks are more important than others. So prioritize it. I say to the people who work with me, I say to them, when you come to work every day, have a schedule of what you have to do. And the things that you will need other people's inputs to be able to achieve your overall results at the end of the day, put them as part of your priority task. So if I know that I'm going to need James or Chief or our chairman here to fulfill one of my tasks today, when I get to work, what I'll do is to first of all reach out to them and say to Chief Omokemi, please, Chief Omokemi, I'd like you to submit these reports to me before the end of the day. So by the time I've communicated to Chief Omokemi and I communicate to the chairman of Young Accountants here, James, and I communicate to 5 other people that I need to collaborate with, that I need input from them before I can say I've achieved anything in the day, I will first of all go and reach out to them early in the morning, as early as 8, 9, and I say, please, I need this, I need this from you. So before I now go and sit down and I start doing my own personal assignments that I cannot assign to someone else. So that's prioritizing my task. I prioritize my tasks every day. Who and who do I need at the end of the day to give me something that will show that I have actually fulfilled the results for the day? I go looking for them. That's prioritizing your task. There are certain tasks that okay, for like today, it doesn't mean that I'm here today, it doesn't mean that I do not have a million other things that I should be doing now. But this is a time that is slotted for this session, and I need to make out all the time in the world, leave everything aside, and prioritize this task right now. This is the task I'm fulfilling. I prioritize this task for these moments. That is what we talk about when we say clear goals and priorities, prioritizing your tasks based on importance and urgency. This is very important because the announcement has gone and you are all looking forward to listen. So prioritize your tasks and create an action plan to achieve your goals. Create action plans to achieve your goals. So these are things that you can bear in mind while setting your goals. In setting your goals, are your goals smart? Are you able to prioritize those goals? And have you been able to create action plans to achieve those goals? These are very important for you to bear them in mind as key component parts of effectiveness, personal effectiveness in the things that you do. And so time management, I'll speak to time management now. I already started speaking to it when I was talking about prioritization in goal setting. So I've said it already, identify the key task and prioritize the task. What are your tasks? Prioritize them. There are some tasks that you're going to do at the end of the day. So for instance, your boss needs a report and maybe you have even delayed that report by 24 hours. And then you have another report that is a report to yourself or to maybe you still have that report, you can submit that report tomorrow. Why do you want to start working on that? Why do you want to prioritize the report of tomorrow when already you are failing in the deadline for the other reports to your boss? So time management strategy requires that you prioritize your task, you schedule your task, which task is the most demanding, which one do I need to turn out first, which one do I need to turn out last, which one do I need to turn out second. That is scheduling your tasks. Create a schedule and stick on to it. Don't let people come and bamboozle you and tell you this is the schedule that you should be doing now. No, you already know how personally effective that you are, or your challenges, or how better you can do things. So schedule your tasks in a way and manner that you stick to it, and where you deviate, you know what you have deviated from, and you begin to push until you achieve that schedule the way you have scheduled it. You also need to have time blocking skills in managing your time. What's the time blocking skill? Allocate specific time slots for tasks.
My client has not given me.
So as a reporting accountant, I will report my work. I will make payments.
So that before the end
I'll have
of
to
the day,
pay tax. I have to have some meetings with other stakeholders, other colleagues.
Boundaries.
So I should be able to allocate specific time slots for tasks.
From time to time. When we talked
in my role today, everybody wants to see me. Everybody wants to see the accountant general. Even things that they can solve themselves. They want to hear what I have to say.
Repeat that interval.
So what do I do?
I
have to time block and say, okay, take regular breaks. Okay, personally, I don't even entertain people who want to see me early in the morning. So I don't even give anybody appointments before 12 o'clock. So my time, my appointments begins from 12, 1, 2,
again and I walk around. I check on colleagues.
And some people already know that I also already close late with me, so I can also give them late hour appointments.
Little time that you can.
So that's time blocking.
You focus for
25 minutes, specific time
for 5 minutes
slots for
tasks. You take a walk
when you know
somewhere,
that you have
or you can just even sing a song
at the same time to do. You have to time block. You have to have a proper calendar. You know how to keep your calendar, so you do not lose.
These are tips for effective time management.
Focus.
So you
people
continue
just
to review and adjust.
Time. If you do not time block, you will find out that you'll go to the office early in the morning and then you end up not doing anything because you've allowed everybody into your space.
Are the best practices that will
so
help you
to be a successful young accountant, to be a success in life, you should learn how to block your time.
As we conclude,
and block it properly. Avoid procrastination.
By implementing the strategies and techniques, young accountants can enhance
avoid it as much as you can.
Time management skills. Leading to
don't let because I want to rest
and that is how this
I can do this later, not because there's something else that you're doing. You're actually just relaxed,
chartered
watching the
accountant that was
television,
so
doing one thing
overwhelmed
or
with
the
her
other.
work at the beginning
But
of
we are
her
here
career,
telling you today that
then or
avoid
towards her career,
procrastination.
in the middle of her career,
Whatever you have to do,
she
do
now
it now.
finds
Do
out
that
that
thing
she's now
today.
become a respected leader in
Don't
her
keep saying I'll
field.
do it tomorrow, because
She's
tomorrow may
known
not
as an
come. You may
exceptional
just be
time
assigned to
management
something else,
and personnel
or that opportunity may not be there
she's known
anymore.
with her
So we have to learn to do
excellent
what we
time
need to do
management and
now,
personal
avoid procrastination,
effectiveness
so
skills.
that you can
And
also
now
get
she's
a
able to
lot of
attribute it to success, to the
you can get
strategies
a
and
lot
all
from
the
the
techniques
little time that you
that
have.
she
Not
has
everybody
learned
has just
early
24
in her
hours
career. You have an
to use
opportunity
in
to
every
learn these
day.
things
Nobody
early in
has
your
more than
career.
24 hours.
I don't think
So it's
someone
how
told
best
me when
you
I was
apply
growing
your
up, or
24
when I
hours
was
in a day
learning as a
that will
chartered
determine
accountant,
how successful that you are.
oh, I need to learn to use
If
my
you are
time
busy
well.
doing
But I
nothing
guess
from
I'm one of
beginning
those
of the day
fortunate
to
people
the
that
end of the day,
somehow nature
you have just ended up
has taught me
procrastinating
how to
forever.
use
You
my
have not
time
done
well.
anything. So
So
also
Ayo's
utilize
story,
technology
as she's able
where
to attribute
possible
this to this thing
in
that she has
scheduling
learned
your time,
over time.
in
So Ayo's
scheduling your
story
time and
serves as a
prioritizing your
testament to the
time. You
power
can use
of
technology.
developing these essential skills.
And
I can
like
also
today,
say
what
that I am that
technology are we
Ayo
using
today.
to maximize our time?
Building these essential skills is very important.
So
I remember when I was
you use
in
various
my secondary
tools,
school
software
days.
to streamline your task. For instance,
I went
those
into
that
a
I
school
work
that
with,
I was one of the
we
best
have this. We have
when I
this
went
to
into that
do
school in the secondary school. But in my
application
JS2
that
class, you will not
we just
believe
go, we fill in
I
what we need
was
to do, we
at the
need to
tail
jointly do
end of the
together,
position
and
of the
we
class.
use
I
it
was
to
one of the
monitor that we're able to
tail
deliver
enders in the
at the
class
end of
in
the day.
position.
When I have a task
And
that
then
I
I
want
told
to give my
myself, that was the
personal
first time
assistant or
in
anyone who is working
JS2.
with me,
And
I
told
just put it in
myself
that
in
to-do
second
list,
term JS2 that
and the
no,
person is able to see it and
me,
run with it.
what is going on with me? How can I have,
So
how can I
we are
take that
using
kind of
technology, and
results
I'm
home?
going to
It wasn't as
introduce
if
us
I
to some of
failed.
the technologies.
But of course,
Please,
so
could you
many
go to
people
the
were
next
so much
slide
ahead
that
of
are
me. So I
available
sat down.
for
So the
you
next
to
term, JS2 first
really
term, when I was the first
maximize
term
your
of my
time
JS2,
and personally be
I sat
effective?
down and I started,
It
as
is
the teachers
called
in
the
class, when I go
ICAN
home, I'll start
matrix.
studying those things that they are teaching us in
In the
class.
ICAN
I'll go back
power
and I read that
matrix, you
chapter of the book.
categorize
So
tasks
you see,
into urgent
I was
and
now using
important.
my time well.
You
But in
categorize them
just
into
when I was
urgent and
playing away my
important
time, I
tasks.
was so happy that I came into a school
So
that bright minds
what
were
is
coming
urgent and
into the
what is
school. I was
important? I
standing
have
out,
to do those
whether
ones
or not I
first.
read, I will do
So it's
well.
like this
But
is a
unfortunately, I
quadrant.
realized that whether or not I
What
read
is
meant
most
that I was going to
important
be
now
failing the
and what
class
is urgent?
at the end of the time. So I
Urgent and
started using my
important.
time well.
You
And
categorize them
over
together. You
time,
have another
those
one,
skills
important but not
have
urgent.
also
This is
become
very
part and
important,
parcel
but
of
it's
my
not urgent
lifestyle
now.
every day.
I
So
can do it
you may
later.
not have had those opportunities in your
So
earlier
for
years, but you are
instance,
here
I'm
today
here
and you've
preparing
learned this, and
preparing
this
to come to
definitely are the
Lagelu
strategies
to
that can
present to
make
young
you a
accountants
successful person
this.
in the next 5
Okay,
years, 10 years
and
to come, and you find out
my
that you're
presentation
actually
slide
standing
probably
out
just got ready early this
more than your
morning.
peers wherever you find yourself.
Because I've
so
had
thank you
other
very much,
tasks, not
Lagelu
because
District and
this is
Society,
not
for giving me
important.
this
This has
opportunity
always
to
been important for me.
share
From the
my
very
own
first time that
experiences with
it
you
was
on
discussed with
personal
me, I
effectiveness
took it
and
up
time
and I said,
management.
yes, this is highly important.
And thank you, my
but
audience,
as it's
for listening.
important, it may not be. So it was important
You've
to
learned
me
from this little
when
time
I
we
was
spent together. Thank you.
it was discussed with me.
Thank you so much.
However, it was not urgent.
Thank you for
So
giving
I
us
had other
insights
urgent
into
assignments to
personal
attend to
effectiveness
between
and
then and
time
this morning.
management.
But this
If
morning,
there
it
are
is
two
obvious
things
that
I can
I
take away
need
from
to
this session
deliver on this
is the
thing.
fact that
Everybody's going to
we
be
have
waiting for me to
to
deliver. So what will I do?
communicate. That
It
aspect
becomes urgent.
actually
So as
struck
important as
me
it was all
when you
along,
said
it becomes
initially that
urgent
apart from
suddenly
goal
today.
setting and
So
whatnot,
urgent and important
a young
tasks,
accountant
important
also
and
needs
urgent.
to communicate.
Urgent
You
but
know,
not important, and
we
not
grew up
urgent
in a
or
society
important.
or from various
So
homes
if it is
whereby
urgent and
we have
important, do
been
them first.
taught on trained
That is what
that
the
in most cases
Eisenhower
silence is
matrix
the best answer.
says.
So
Anything
we
that
have
is
just
urgent
found a
and
way to
important,
imbibe
the
that
two
and carry
components
it
must work together.
into our
Do them
professional life.
first.
That even when we are supposed to
Anyone that is
challenge
important but is
something
not
that is not
urgent,
right,
schedule it.
something that
Begin to put them
negates
into your
our
schedule.
professional training or background,
Then if you
we
have one that
just,
is
maybe out
urgent
of
but is
respect
not
because the person is
important,
older than us or
delegate it
because
to
they are
someone to
our
do it
boss,
for you.
we just
I
keep
hope you
quiet
understand what I'm saying.
and
There are
let
certain
it
tasks
slide.
that you can delegate,
Thank you
and there are
so much,
certain
Ma,
tasks that you
for
cannot delegate.
sharing from a
You
wealth of
have to do it
experience
yourself.
with us.
So
While
even
this
though it
session
is
was going
urgent,
on,
but it is
there
not
was a
important,
question in the
you can
comment
delegate it to the person person that you're working with.
from
And now
David
it is not
Oluwatomisi
urgent and it is not
Oluwatayo, who
important,
asked,
and you are trying to
how
do
can you
it.
handle
Once you
delegation
ask yourself, where does
where your
this one fall into my
less
quadrant?
competent
Is it falling
or
into my
have
quadrant
lesser
of urgent,
skill
or
or
is it falling into
authorization
my
to do a task and
quadrant
the work
of
is demanding?
importance?
So how do
Based
you
on the
handle
area that
delegation
it
now?
falls into, you determine what you do with that thing. Urgent and important. Yes, you welcome it on board.
You are
Do
muted,
it
ma.
first.
Yeah,
Important
being a
and not
being a
urgent.
superior
Schedule them. Don't
is
worry. I'll
not
come and do you later.
is
And make
not
sure that
an
you do
easy
it too.
task. It's not
And
a
then urgent
task
but
that
not
you just cross
important.
your
So you
leg.
delegate. And the one
So
that
I'm a
is
Christian,
not urgent and not important, you eliminate it from
when we
before.
read the Bible says to us
I hope
that
I'm
whoever is
communicating.
going
So
to
that's
be a
the
master has to be a
Eisenhower
servant of all.
matrix. That's what the Eisenhower matrix
So
says.
being a leader means yes.
Now
you
we
have
go
to
to the
serve
next one,
everybody. Is the chief
the
servant.
Pomodoro
The chief
technique.
servant in
And
the
what does the
house is
Pomodoro
actually the
technique
leader.
tells us? It
So,
says
but many of us
you
think
work
that
in
being a leader means
focus.
I sit up
Working
there
in
and I just
focus
dish out
25 minutes
instructions. No,
increments. You are
those
working in
people who are
focused
there, your
25
subordinates,
minutes
are there to learn
increments.
from you.
So every 25
And
minutes
so
you
it's one of those
increase,
things that I
you go
already
into another
said. The
task, you go
additional
into
things that I
another
said
task. So
to
you
us, I
choose,
said,
you've already scheduled those your tasks. You
establish
already know,
clear
you're already
expectations
adopting
with
the
colleagues and clients.
Power matrix. And then
Tell
you
them
begin to
exactly
now
what you want them to
focus
do.
on
This is what I
25
want to
minutes
see at the
increments
end of
on what you have scheduled
this
for yourself.
assignment
You
I'm
choose a
giving you.
task
This
and
is
you
how
set
I
a
want you
timer
to
for
do it.
25 minutes.
Sometimes
We
I
all
sit down
have
my
our
subordinates with
phones. Our
me and
phones
I
can be
ask them to
timers for
sit around
ourselves.
me.
Say, okay, in the next
And
25
they watch
minutes, I
what I
should be
am
done with
doing.
this
And I
one.
ask them
So
to
I
do it on their
have
I
4
do
hours
one,
in
I
a
do
day,
two, and I do
and I
three,
have 20
sometimes on my
tasks.
own.
So
But
4
I'm
hours in a
asking
day
them
with
to
20
watch
tasks.
me.
Let's
And then
see.
I give it back to them and I
60
say,
times
can you do it
60 minutes
yourself?
in
Now do it.
an
And as
hour
they're doing it, I'm
and
supervising
4
them.
hours for me to
I don't
finish
leave
all
them
my
to do
jobs.
it
So I
all
have
the way to the
240
end. So
minutes.
your
And how many
subordinates
tasks
will
do I
be
have? I build
incompetent compared to
myself
your competency.
with 10 tasks
If they
and I
are
have
if they are
240
as
minutes.
competent as you,
It
they will
means
not
that
be
for
your
each of the
subordinates
tasks,
anymore.
I should have an
So you should
average
know that you are the
consideration
chief servant
of
there.
24 minutes each. But
They
you
are
know that
just your
some tasks
extra
are
hands.
heavier than the others.
I said
Need more
okay,
time than
all these people
the
that are
others. So
around
you
me
allocate
are
certain
making
time
my
to it,
hands 10
and you
instead
use
of
the
me
Pomodoro
using 2 hands.
technique
My 2
to
hands
clock
can't do
yourself
much.
and say,
So
okay, this first
since I
task
have
I'll do
5 more
30
people,
minutes.
so
The
I'm
next one I'll do
lending them.
25 minutes. But
They are
this
my
one is
extra
just like
hands.
an
So
incremental
I'm
of
saying to
25,
that
25
extra hand,
minutes.
my 10th hand,
You
I'm saying,
top and you
this is
top
what I
and you
want you
top
to do. Please help me do
until
it like this.
you
I
have already
prepared the
scheduled
template
those
for them
things
and I
in that
say,
way.
okay,
And then
start filling,
eventually
start
just
filling,
find out
start
that you're a
filling.
winner.
Populate it
So
with this. I'm coming
work
back
on
to
the
you.
tasks
When you
without
finish, tell me.
interruptions. That's the
Many
Pomodoro
times they will not come back
technique.
and tell me. That's
You've
where the
already scheduled
communication
these
gap
tasks.
is.
You've told
And
yourself
then
in
I'll
every
say,
25
and then
minutes, I'll
something
go into the next
begins to
task.
get
So
stuck,
you
and
stay
I remember and I
focused
say, because I've
without
already put it in my
interruptions. I
to-do
want to
list.
sit
I
here
remember and I go
in the
back to them
next
and
2
say, but
hours.
I
I don't
gave you
want to
this thing.
stand
They went,
up. And
because
after
you've not
2
asked me.
hours,
I
when I've
finished with
done
my day, and I
120
said, no,
minutes,
no,
I'm
no,
going to
no, no,
get
no.
up and take
That's
a
not
walk.
right. You should
And when
tell
I
me
take
that
a
you
walk, I'll take
finished,
my walk for
and you
10
should
minutes
follow
or
up on
15
me
minutes.
until we
And
get
I
into
come
the
back or
next
I
step.
take a break.
You keep teaching them
I
and
go and
teaching them
have
every
my
day. My
snack or
brother, if
whatever.
or my sister, if
But
they
you
knew that
must
thing
work
better than
without
you, they will not be your
interruptions. You must do those
subordinates.
things
They would
without
have been leaders
interruptions.
somewhere. You will
That
not even
pattern
see
that you
them
have
as
arranged
subordinates.
yourself must be without
So you are the chief,
interruption.
you
And
are the
then take
chief
a 5
servant.
minutes break from
You
time
don't
to
have to
time
do
and
everything
repeat
yourself, but
the
teach them what to do.
circle.
Supervise them,
So
take them
you
through
choose
the
a task, you
process,
set a
teach
25
them what
minutes
you are learning,
time for
and they will
yourself.
keep
You
helping
work
you
on
and
that
helping
task
you to
without
achieve your task at
interruption.
the end of the day.
I've told
Tell
myself
them
I'm
your
going to do this thing for
expectations.
25 minutes. So
Tell them,
without
keep teaching
interruption,
them,
I will
keep
do this work for
motivating them, keep
25 minutes
mentoring
until
them, keep showing
the
them the
alarm
pattern
rings for me
on which
25
to
minutes
go. And
after.
someday,
Then you take
sometimes,
a break for
some of
5
those
minutes
subordinates, they
and then
pick
you
very
repeat the
fast. Oh.
circle. So that is
And
30
some of them
seconds,
will all
30
just
minutes.
continue.
You've done
You
something for
categorize all of
30
them.
minutes
That
and
you
you
know, I also
repeat
said
again.
that identify the
So
person who
in
can
all,
do the
they're
task.
focused
So you have
and they're
various
trying to
subordinates. Some
achieve
can do certain things. Some
all that
can
has
do
been
other
set for
things.
you to
They
all
all
that you
have
have set for
different
yourself or your
potentials.
bosses have set for
Identify their
you or
potentials
whoever has
and
set for
push
you,
the
your mates
task
have
of
set for you.
whatever
You set all
anybody
that in
can do
place.
best to
That is the
them.
Podomora
Don't expect all of them to
technique.
be
So
able
I've talked
to do
about,
all the
so
things.
these are
No,
all
you know what everybody
tools that
can
can
do.
help you
Give them their
for
own
effective time
capabilities,
management.
and you find out that,
The
and that's why it's called a
Eisenhower,
team
the
collaboration.
Eisenhower
Everybody will be
principle, and
collaborating
then this
together, teaming
Podomoro
together for organizational
technique. They
success.
are very good
So I
tools that
hope
you
this
should use
answered the task
all the
of
time.
delegation.
I'll go to task segmentation. How do I segment my task? You identify the tasks once again. You know, we're talking about tasks. It's tasks that you're trying to, it's the various tasks that you have that you're trying to make sure that in your fulfillment of those tasks, you are personally effective and you have managed your time very well. So in time management, you identify that task that you want to do. You break it down into smaller tasks and you prioritize the smaller tasks and focus on one task at a time. So that is the strategies for task segmentation. Identify the tasks that you need to achieve, break them down into smaller tasks. Okay, this. Okay, I'll do this one like this. When I get here, I'll now do this one. Or let me even dedicate this one to this other person. Prioritize the smaller tasks and focus on one task at a time. You can't do all of them. Sometimes the people who work with me, I think my report line, immediately reporting to me, I have over 100 people that immediately report to me in my office. And then sometimes I just see that my secretary allows almost everybody, maybe like 5 people to come in at the same time, and they're all standing and waiting for me. And I say to them, and then when I realize when I'm conscious of what is going on, and I say to them, no, you can't all come in. You see someone is standing, then you stand you stand again, you stand again, you stand again. No, that's choking me. That's trying to put me under pressure. And so I say to them, you know what, you all have to just, maybe you need to sit down while one person I'm attending to one person, or I'm attending to someone already, and then somebody else comes and drops and says, oh, madam, do this, this person. I said, no, but you see that a task is already going on. Have respect to that task. So that is what it is. You break those tasks into smaller, and you prioritize the smaller tasks and focus on one task at a time. You can't do all the tasks at the same time. You cannot. You can't. If not, you end up doing nothing. And that's what they call jack of all trade and master of none. You are doing everything and end up you are doing nothing. You must make sure that you have identified your task, you break them down into small pieces, you prioritize the task and focus until you see the results. If you haven't seen the results, you haven't started. So segment the things that you have to do, those tasks that you have to do every day, segment them and see to the end of every one that you're able to achieve 1 or 2 things from time to time, no matter how difficult it can be for you. So these principles, if you follow them, for goodness sake, young accountants, you are going to be a wonderful and a very successful young accountant. Delegation, in all the things that I've said, I've talked about delegation. What kind of tasks are we delegating under the Eisenhower matrix? What tasks are we delegating? The ones that are important but are not urgent. They are important, they are not urgent. You can delegate it to someone and then you come back and review it later. So you can delegate it to somebody else. It is important, but it is not urgent. So someone else can help you be doing that one. So that is delegation. That is a principle that guides you to delegate. So identify that task that can be delegated. You know, we've used Eisenhower matrix to identify the tasks that can be delegated. The one that is urgent, important and urgent, don't delegate it though. Don't delegate it. That one is the one you should do immediately yourself. Pay attention to it and do it. But the one that is urgent, that is important, but is not urgent, delegate it. That is where this thing comes. So when you have identified that task that is to be delegated, so I don't want anybody to keep, from what I've explained, you don't need anybody to tell you how to identify it again. You know how to identify it. So identify the task that can be delegated. Choose the right person for the task. There are various people who can do various tasks for you. So choose that right person that is within your horizon that can do it for you. Don't think that you can even assign some tasks to me. There are some things that you can ask me to do for you. For instance, the chairman of Lagelu Young Accountants Committee is younger than me. And if you look at organizational structure, he's lower in the structure, he's down the line in the structure than I am. But he has delegated a task to me. He has assigned a task to me, his superior. He has asked me to help him with this task. This task is important to him, but he needs help. Yeah, and also the chairman of the district, Chief Omakemi, she has also identified that, they need, and they delegated this task to me at this point in time. So there's always someone you can delegate a task to. Don't think that you cannot delegate it to someone who is superior to you. Your superior person may be the person that will help you to achieve that task. For instance, I go to my governor sometimes and I say to him, oh, sir, Your Excellency, please, I'd like you to speak to this person for me at this point of this task, and I need you to step in. So you must know who you are delegating to. Delegating doesn't necessarily mean that you are delegating to your junior. No. You are assigning, you know where the next button should go to, and you are asking for help from that place. And many of us do not know how to ask for help. I ask for help where we're low. In fact, if anything that I can delegate, I delegate. That is what makes you a leader. Leaders must learn how to delegate. There will always be so many things that you can that are actually not urgent for the moment. Like now, this is the urgent thing. Now, I'm not going to delegate it to anybody now. It is important and it's urgent. Can I delegate it to anybody at this moment? No. But there was a time when my task right now is not urgent. I could delegate it at that time, but not now anymore. So that's delegation. So choose the right person for that task. and then provide clear instructions and expectations. So I think I also miss it here. Sometimes I think the person should know what they should do. But by the time they come back to me, I realize that no, this person didn't even realize what I wanted the person to do. So in delegating, you should be able to tell the person, give the person clear instructions and let the person know your expectations, and also let them say it again to you. Because many people will tell you that they've heard what you are saying, but the truth is that they haven't even heard you. Because if you tell them to repeat it, or when they leave you and come back, you find that they haven't come back with the result that you're expecting them to give you. So you should provide clear instructions and expectations, and even tell the person, please, could you tell me what I just discussed with you so that I know that we're on the same page. So hello, and I hope we're all listening and we're all together. And then monitor progress and provide feedback. Monitor that the person is, don't wait until the person finishes the delegated task. Monitor what the person is doing so that the person doesn't waste his time, he doesn't waste your own time, and you're all doing, keeping to the right pattern of achieving the task that is meant to be done. So I'm going to give you additional strategic tips for effective time management. You need to learn to create your to-do list. I've talked about the to-do list. For me, I have jotters, many jotters. I'm writing to do. I have many diaries. I'm writing the to do. Why do I have the small jotters? Very small jotters that I can use my palms to cover. Why do I have it? Because I want my to do to be right there in front of me. You can have. I also have an online a software application that I use for my to-do list. I keep putting my to-do activities for next month. I have activities even till September. And as they come, I schedule them there. I have my calendar that I also use to remind myself. So use a calendar, create your to-do list. Your to-do list cannot be offhand, cannot be there in your head. You will forget some of them. So create that documented to-do list and always go to it like early in the morning when you wake up. And when you're ready for work, or when you're driving to work, or you're waiting in the bus for you to get to work, go through your to-do list and begin to batch your work. Identify, go back, put that your to-do list into the Eisenhower matrix, so that you can really be organized for the day and you can achieve certain level of successes during the day. Set boundaries. And what do I mean by setting boundaries? You need to establish clear expectations with colleagues and clients. I told you that at the beginning of my session. That I have a lot of people that I'm working with, and I know that, oh, this person, I will need to get this thing from this person before the end of the day. So I've already started communicating with that person at the beginning of it. So I'm able to, with that, I'm setting my boundaries, I'm establishing my clear expectations with my colleagues and my clients. I know that, okay, I'm going to sign a finance. I want to sign a finance. I'm doing an audit, and my client has not given me this and that. So I'm going to check on him early in the morning so that before the end of the day, he can release those things to me. Those are what we're talking about here: setting boundaries and take your breaks. Take your breaks from time to time. When we went through the Pomodoro technique, you remember that we talked about taking breaks. At 30 minutes, you take 5 minutes break. So, and then you repeat that interval again. So take regular breaks to recharge. I guess that's also part of the things. I'm also somebody that I can walk around, I can get distracted. So when I sit down and I'm working, I'm focused on my job, but I get up again and I walk around, I check on colleagues, and I crack a joke, I have a gist with someone. Those are little times that you can take a break. You focus for 25 minutes and then you take a break for 5 minutes, you take a walk out somewhere, or you can just even sing a song, you can just walk out with your friends, you can check on your colleague on the next table and all that. So these are tips for effective time management. So you continue to review and adjust, regularly reviewing and adjusting time management strategies. You keep doing it all the time. And then these are best practices. Those that previous slide are the best practices that will help you strategize for success as a young person. And so as we conclude, I'm going to be saying to you that By implementing these strategies and techniques, young accountants can enhance their personal effectiveness and time management skills, leading to increased productivity. And that is how this Ayo ended up years later. And this Ayo, this chartered accountant that was so overwhelmed with her work at the beginning of her career, even or towards her career, in the middle of her career, she now finds out that she's now become a respected leader in her field. She's known as an exceptional time management and personnel effect. She's known with her excellent time management and personal effectiveness skill. And now she's able to attribute it to success, to the strategies and all the techniques that she has learned early in her career. You have an opportunity to learn this thing early in your career. I don't think someone told me when I was growing up or when I was learning as a chartered accountant that, oh, I need to learn to use my time well. But I guess I'm one of those fortunate people that somehow nature has taught me how to use my time well. So Ayo's story, and she's able to attribute this to these things that she has learned over time. So Ayo's story serves as a testament to the power of developing these essential skills. I can also say that I am that Ayo today, that building these essential skills is very important. I remember when I was in my secondary school days, I went into a school that I was one of the best when I went into that school in the secondary school. But in my JS2 class, you will not believe, I was at the tail end of the position of the class. I was one of the tail enders in the class in position. And then I told myself, that was the first time in JS2. And I told myself in second term JS2 that no, me, what is going on with me? How can I take that kind of result home? It wasn't as if I failed, but of course, so many people were so much ahead of me. So I sat down. So the next term, JS2 first term, when I was the first term of my JS2, I sat down and I started, as the teachers in class, when I go home, I'll start studying those things that they are teaching us in class. I'll go back and I read that chapter of the book. So you see, I was now using my time well. But in JS1, I was playing away my time. I was so happy that I came into a school that bright minds were coming into the school. I was standing out, whether or not I read, I will do well. But unfortunately, I realized that whether or not I read meant that I was going to be failing the class at the end of the time. So I started using my time well. And over time, those skills have also become part and parcel of my lifestyle every day. So you may not have had those opportunities in your earlier years, but you are here today and you've learned this. And this definitely are the strategies that can make you a successful person in the next 5 years, 10 years to come. And you find out that you're actually standing out more than your peers wherever you find yourself. So thank you very much, Lagelu District and Society, for giving me this opportunity to share my own experiences with you on personal effectiveness and time management. And thank you, my audience, for listening. I hope you've learned from this little time we spent together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving us insights into personal effectiveness and time management. If there are two things I can take away from this session, is the fact that we have to communicate. That aspect actually struck me when you said initially that apart from goal setting and whatnot, a young accountant also need to communicate. You know, we grew up in a society or from various homes whereby we have been taught on trains that in most cases silence is the best answer. So we have just found a way to imbibe that and carry it into our professional life. That even when we are supposed to challenge something that is not right, something that negates our professional training or background, we just, maybe out of respect because the person is older than us or because they are our boss, we just keep quiet and let it slide. Thank you so much, Ma, for sharing from a wealth of experience with us. While the session was going on, there was a question in the comment section from David Oluwatomisin Oluwatayo, who asked, how can you handle delegation where your subordinates are less competent or have lesser skill or authorization to do a task? and the work is demanding. So how do you handle delegation, ma? You are muted, ma.
Yeah, being a boss, being the superior is not an easy task. It's not a task that you just cross your leg. So I'm a Christian, and when we read the Bible says to us that whoever is going to be a master has to be a servant of all. So being a leader means yes, you have to serve everybody. It's the chief servant. The chief servant in the house is actually the leader. So, but many of us think that being a leader means I sit up there and I just dish out instructions. No. Those people who are there, your subordinates, are there to learn from you. And so it's one of those things that I already said, the additional tips that I said to us. I said, establish clear expectations with colleagues and clients. Tell them exactly what you want them to do. This is what I want to see at the end of this assignment I'm giving you. This is how I want you to do it. Sometimes I sit down my subordinates with me and I ask them to sit around me. And they watch what I am doing. And I ask them to do it on their, I do 1, I do 2, and I do 3 sometimes on my own. But I'm asking them to watch me. And then I give it back to them and I say, can you do it yourself? Now do it. And as they're doing it, I'm supervising them. I don't leave them to do it all the way to the end. So your subordinates will be incompetent compared to your competency. If they are as competent as you, they will not be your subordinates anymore. So you should know that you are the chief servants there. They are just your extra hands. I said okay, all these people that are around me are making my hands 10 instead of me using 2 hands. My 2 hands can't do much. So since I have 5 more people, so I'm lending them, they are my extra hands. So I'm saying to that extra hand, my 10th hand, I'm saying, this is what I want you to do. Please help me do it like this. I prepare the template for them and I say, okay, start filling. Populate it with this. I'm coming back to you. When you finish, tell me. Many times they will not come back and tell me. That's where the communication gap is. And then I'll say, and then something begins to get back. And I remember and I say, because I've already put it in my to-do list. I remember and I go back to them and say, but I gave you this thing there. Why? Because you've not asked me. I finished it now. You didn't ask. I said, no. That's not right. You should tell me that you finished and you should follow up on me until we get into the next step. You keep teaching them and teaching them every day. My brother, or my sister, if they knew that thing better than you, they would not be your subordinates soon. They would have been leaders somewhere. You will not even see them to subordinates. So you are the chief servant. You don't have to do everything yourself, but teach them what to do, supervise them, take them through the process, teach them what you are learning, and they will keep helping you to achieve your tasks at the end of the day. Tell them your expectations. Tell them, keep teaching them, keep motivating them, keep mentoring them, keep showing them the pattern on which to go. And someday, sometime, some of those subordinates, they pick very fast though. And some of them will all just continue. You categorize all of them. That, I also said that identify the person who can do the task. So you have various subordinates. Some can do certain things. Some can do other things. They all have different potentials. Identify their potentials and push the task of whatever anybody can do best to them. Don't expect all of them to be able to do all the things. No, you know what everybody can do. Give them their own capabilities, and you find out that, and that's why it's called a team collaboration. Everybody will be collaborating together, teaming together for organizational success. So I hope this answers the task of delegation.